The Hooga Pro 300 or the Joovv Mini 3.0? Which one is better? Which one would I choose? And is the Joovv Mini really worth 3 times the price of the Hooga? Let's find out. So yes, beside me, I have 2 popular red light therapy tabletop panels. Now recently I did a poll asking which tabletop panels I should compare. This combination came out number 1. It's interesting because these panels are so different yet so similar. The big difference is the price. The Joovv Mini is over $1,000. The Hooga Pro 300, you can get that for less than $300. Told you, it's a big difference. But they're also very similar. As you can see, they're both tabletop panels. Great for face treatment, great for that sore knee or the sunburned back perhaps. They're also very similar sized. Yes, both physically, though the Joovv is 2 inches taller, but in terms of features, they're both using 60 LEDs and have the same wavelengths. So if you're coming here wondering which one you should buy, and if the Joovv is really worth that $1,000 price tag, let me explain some of the key differences which may in fact have you opening up your wallet and forking out that extra cash. But the best way to compare these products head to head is with a tool I've created. Now this is available over at lighttherapyinsiders.com. I'll put a link to it below. But once you're over there, you'll be able to click on the comparison database. Now let me show you how it works because it's going to help a lot with this head-to-head comparison. So once we're in there, we want to see the difference between these 2 tabletop panels. So I'm going to go to class, to tabletop, the company, of course we have a Joovv, and we also have Hooga. All right, now we have 3 results. Now as you can see, there's actually 2 Hooga products. That's because Hooga also have their Hooga 300, which is their base model. Now, later on in this video, I'm going to mention how you can learn more about these 2 panels, because if you decide to go on the Hooga Pro 300 over the Joovv, you should also consider this. But again, more on this later. All right, so back to the database. As you can see, we have the 3 products. I can now enable a few other features, dimensions, warranty, sound levels, wavelengths, and we see the comparisons head to head in a nice, easy to understand chart. You can sort things by warranty, wavelengths, etc. It's all there. If you want to watch a review on any of these products, just hover over the eye icon and away you go. You can also see where the company is located, where they ship from, any discounts that are on offer, and direct links if you want to purchase one of these. So again, check this tool out. It is useful for comparing all sorts of products, but it's also going to be really handy for this comparison. Okay, so let's run through the key facts. Let's start with price. The Hooga Pro 300 retails for about $270. These guys have given me a discount code to share with you. It is code ALEX. It'll save you 10%. So that brings this price down to about $240. Now that price includes a stand, which personally, it's exceptional value. Joovv, on the other hand, they're a lot more expensive. For $1,050 US, you get the Joovv Mini 3.0, and it comes with this floor boot stand. If you decide you want their tabletop mini stand, you're going to have to pay an extra $50. That brings it up to $1,100. Now it gets worse. I don't have a discount code with Joovv to share with you, so we can't bring the price down. Secondly, the price is actually only going to go up because that price I just mentioned doesn't include taxes. So depending where you live in the world or in America, Joovv are going to add on their taxes. Not only that, you also have to pay for shipping. So expect to pay $100 or more to get this shipped to your door. So you're looking at $1,200, $1,300 for this. Over here, a discounted $240, the stand's included, taxes are included, and shipping's free to the US, though you have to pay for international shipping. It's a big difference, right? Now, what about power output? Well, if we get them running, you'll see that both of the panels have 60 LEDs, and they're putting out light in both the 660 nanometer red range and 850 nanometer near-infrared range. These are your traditional red and near-infrared wavelengths that we see pretty much across the board. There's nothing fancy, there's no 810s here or 900 or 630s or anything like that. But again, there's plenty of research, it's a tried and tested wavelength, so no dramas there. 30 of the LEDs are 660, 30 of the LEDs are 850. It's the same for both panels. In terms of total power, Joovv does have a slight edge. It's putting out 10% more power than the Hooga, 28 watts versus about 25.5 watts. To be honest, it's such a small amount, I wouldn't get caught up, especially when you remember the price difference. Now, you may not be able to notice this, but one key difference between the 2 panels is the sound. Hooga comes out at about 50 decibels, the Joovv 52. Now, that's not a big amount, and you may be wondering, Alex, really? It doesn't matter. But the Joovv puts out quite a high-pitched whir. To be honest, I've used this before, and I don't like it. It just irks me. The Hooga isn't great, especially compared to some of the newer panels we've seen on the market today, but at least it's a much softer background white noise sort of sound. Now, if you're thinking, really sound, does it matter? Well, yeah, it does. If you're using this for 10, 20 minutes a day, 4 or 5 times a week, you don't want something that's stressing you or bothering you. Trust me, this thing bothers me. Okay, so we're going to turn these off here. The other difference between the two of them is the EMF levels. Hooga is not too bad on the EMF front. The Joovv, though, does have some high readings, especially in the electric field range. I've got a whole video on why this is the case, and personally, I think it's a really silly mistake that could be easily fixed, but even after a couple years, it still hasn't, so it is what it is. But if you're EMF sensitive and trying to minimize the stress load on your body, then yeah, you're probably not going to want to go near the Joovv. Instead, go with the Hooga. Okay, so you're probably thinking, Alex, this is nuts. Like, they're pretty similar, right? But that price difference is massive. What are you getting for all that extra cash? Well, Joovv does have an advantage. It is a nicer looking panel. I'll give them that. It's made of plastic. Hooga over here is made of metal. So of course it's going to be lighter. It is nicer to look at. It also has a good control panel. It's not market leading like we see with the Biomax range or anything like that, but it does the job well. The buttons are very tactile. It's easy to use. There's a nice little timer on board. The Hooga Pro over here doesn't have any of that. You just simply got 2 big switches. There's no timer. There's no advanced options or anything like that. So it is quite a basic design. And remember, this is their Pro line as well. So back to the Joovv. What are you getting for that extra $800-900? Well, yes, the control panel, but you're also getting pulsing function. There is an inbuilt 10 Hertz pulsing function. It only pulses the near infrared light. I've done a video on pulsing and why you may want to consider it. You can check that out. Put links to it below. But it also comes with an app. I don't know, personally, I don't really use the apps, but they can be handy if you do want to track your usage over time or unlock some advanced features. Speaking of advanced features, you can drop the power intensity down to have this more as a background glow, or set a beat reminder so it beeps at certain points in the session. Both of those features are kind of cool. Whether they're worth $800 extra though, I don't know. Personally, I don't think so. All right, so I think that's everything. Now, of course, I have both of these panels. Which one would I use if I could only use one? It would be the Hooga. Yes, it doesn't have the timer. Yes, it doesn't have the app. Yes, it may not look as nice, but it sounds a lot better. It doesn't have the EMF concerns. And in terms of power output, it's pretty much the same as the Joovv. If someone were coming to me wanting to buy one, which one would I recommend? The same thing, the Hooga. I mean, you could literally get 4 of these for the price of the Joovv. Or if you want, go get the bigger Hooga, such as the Hooga 1500. I've reviewed that as well. And you can get one of those for a similar price as the Joovv. Why would you go and buy the Joovv? Well, it's hard. Maybe you like the design. Maybe you like that it's plastic. Maybe you want the app. But even then, it's hard to justify those as selling points, especially when you're spending so much more money. Look, by the way, I've reviewed both of these panels in great detail. So if you want to learn more about them, check out those reviews. Otherwise, if you are leaning towards the Hooga, then check out this video. It's my comparison between the Hooga Pro 300 and the Hooga Base 300. It's even cheaper again, but you do lose a few features.